Hello, hello, what's up? What's up? We are live again. Okay, so today I will be looking for a custom build PC, and I've been thinking of building a custom PC, especially for the stream, because right now I only have a MacBook Pro, and it is not sufficient just for streaming. Not not just for the streaming only, but for the content itself. For instance, if I'm doing a coding stream or a gaming stream, in that case, in addition to running the OBS, it should support running the application itself, which I'm trying to stream. Uh, so right, that's why I was planning to have a custom PC that can the support the stream itself, and if I want to work as a standalone as well, it should have the capability or the process or the configuration to handle that kind of heavy task. So that's why I looked into a few of the the hardware which can be called as a higher end hardware, but still I feel like at some point that this might be even a bit slower. For instance, right now, like, I already have a i9 Intel Core i9 processor in my laptop because I'm using a MacBook Pro, and in that I think it's 8 core. I know, I think it's called Intel Core i9. uh, I think it's called it's 8th generation. I'm not exactly sure like how the terminology works over there, like how Intel names their hardware. Let me open the chat on the side. Hey Poflo, welcome back. What's up? Let me scooch that real quick. All right. Let me make it more smaller. I can't make it. That sucks. I think it should be fine. All right. Let me drag this over here. Cool. Okay, so oh yeah, I got the new haircut. So like, it's summers over here, and the weather is increasing day by day. Like, it's already close to 40, even in the month of May, which is kind of a big deal. So I'm just preparing myself. So I think one of haircut is one of the things. Yeah. But like, on the other hand, like, I don't have to worry about for the next few months, like when my hair grows back. So it should be fine. All right. Uh, so this is the configuration I'm planning to have. Let me increase the font a little bit. Okay, I think that should be readable. All right, cool. Oh, that is too big. I think the 13 or 14 should be fine, or maybe 14. All right, looks good. Okay, it's too slow, but it should do the work. So talking about the custom build PC, first of all, I'll be talking about the existing stack I have and what I'm expecting. So I think that's a great start. So crunch, what are you doing today? So today I'm planning to build a custom PC for the stream, for my streaming. So I was planning, so off the stream, I looked into a few of the hardware, which like kind of a top tier hardware, which I think could call like a best gaming PC, you can say. So I looked into a few of the configurations, like which can work best. And I still feel like the configuration I have selected over here can be a bit slower. I might be wrong. I'm not a pro. Yeah, actually, because I only have a MacBook Pro, and like it's at its lower end. Like I only have left like 10% of CPU usage left. So I will be just talking about like what current hardware I have and what I'm expecting for the custom PC to have. Current hardware. All right. I just let me know. Just let me know if the stream lags as well, because I want to do a real battle test. While doing a live stream and see like where we are right now and what I wanted to achieve. So just let me know like how the stream goes as well. So talking about the CPU. I think I have Intel. Okay, Intel Core i9. I think I have to check it real quick. But for the memory, memory I think I have 32 gigs. Oh, I see. Actually, that's great. The stream looks great. But the don't lag for me. So that's great. Actually, I think I might have turned on the settings that the stream is not real time, so that I'm not sure like if so Twitch has this setting where you can turn off like if you want to make the stream real time or if you want to make the stream stable. So I think that that settings work for the people who have like a bad internet connection or maybe the hardware side. But from the internet standpoint, I have a good internet connection. I don't have to worry about that. Now the problem is the hardware itself. Right now, like as I've told earlier, like I only have 10% of the CPU usage. Even then, it sometimes decreases to 7% or even maybe more or less. So the CPU usage is fluctuating around 10%, and I don't want that. I want that more than 60% CPU should be available even after streaming on a single machine. I'm looking like kind of a powerful machine over here. So my current hardware is at like memory. I think I have 32 gigs of memory in the laptop, and I have to check the graphics. I think actually I'm not sure like how. So here's the thing. Like I'm not sure how Apple works over here, because I have 2 graphic cards I think in the laptop. I'm not exactly sure like how, because Intel, so there are 2 chip manufacturer, Intel and AMD. So let me just write down over here. I think those are the 2 prominent I'm aware of, Intel and AMD, and both of them has their own ecosystem, different ways of chip manufacturing, and only different hardware will support over there. I think the music is too loud. Let me decrease it. Or maybe I can decrease the volume on my end. All right. So Intel and AMD are the 2 big players in the chip manufacturing, especially for the CPU side. And both of them has their own sockets that get attached to the motherboard. And apart from this, like when I was looking at this configuration, there were a lot of things to learn. Like it was crazy, like how different things I came to learn. The clock speeds, DDR4, DDR5, stuff like that. And I actually I knew that memory had DDR4 and DDR5 stuff, but I didn't know like even the motherboard had the DDR4 or 5 stuff. I don't know, like that I didn't went too technical over there or too deep. So it was kind of a new thing for me to learn, like all these things. So yeah. All right. So yeah, Intel and AMD are like two big players. And yeah, so I wanted to check like what is the I will just jot down my current hardware. Let me see if I can hide that real quick before showing. Okay, cool. Thank. All right. So I have let me copy paste. So I have 2.4 gigahertz and 8 core. All right, 8 core Intel Core i9. All right. So this is the current CPU I have in the laptop, and as for the memory, I have 32 gigs of memory with 267 of I believe this is megahertz. Yeah, megahertz with DDR4. All right, DDR4. Next is the graphics. Okay, so here's the thing, so as I was saying, like Intel and AMD has a different way of, like if we talk about just about the CPU itself, like if we use okay, let me okay, so this is the hardware for the motherboard, and this can only be used for the Intel CPU, and we can't use this for the AMD because it has a different socket which can only be used for Intel and only for 12th and 13th generation Intel. So here's the catch. And if we talk about the graphic card as well, obviously I think that only like if we talk about the performance, and if we want the best performance of the CPU and all the hardware, we need to get the hardware which is compatible. So for my current stack, like I'm not sure like how they made it work or like what are the technicalities behind the scene. So for the graphic cards, I have AMD Radeon Pro 5500 M. I'm not sure if this is megahertz or what. Like the unit has not been specified. It is just M. Maybe it's just the product code. And 8 gigs. And then there is also this Intel UHD graphics, which is 630. I think that is the product model number. Oh, spelling. Intel UHD graphics 630, and this is just like 1.5 gigs or something. All right. So yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, this is the current hardware stack for my machine, and it works great. To be fair, like I'm not saying this is a bad machine. It works really great. It's just that like for example, if I'm doing a live stream right now and like my machine is really slow, so I want to make it I want to build a machine that can support the stream very easily if I want to make a real-time stream, and it should be as smooth as it can be. And even after that, like if I want to use that custom built PC as a standalone work, like without my laptop, it should to support that. All right, so right now like I have this hardware configuration which is sorted into different hardware or the different components. First of all, I have the CPU, the main part. Then I have the graphic card. So graphic card, I think like I have looked a lot. I think this is the top tier consumer based graphic card. I also found out that I think there is even like I think yesterday I found out like that there is this NVIDIA H series, but I think it's only used for AI training and stuff like that. So I think it can only be used for server hardware, not for a custom built PC. So I think this is the max you can go for the graphics, I think. And over here, like again, I can go for the MSI RTX. I have to still check, like I'm not sure for the graphics card, like if it will support, because graphic card can also vary based on the motherboard you're using. I have to still check which one to go for. And as for the, okay, this is the motherboard. And then the DDR5 RAM. Yep. And by the way, all this the components I'm looking for, they are all DDR5. So that is the kind of like the bar I'm setting over here, like all the latest technologies, whatever is possible. And even so one more thing. So in the place where I live, so there are a few kind of geographically speaking, like there are certain components or hardware elements which are not available due to shipments or certain other reasons. So over here for so considering that, I was looking for 64 gigs of memory or RAM over here, but like it was not possible to grab that. Like if I look online, like sure I can get the 64 single stick, so that was not possible. So like I have to do like 62 into 2 or maybe 62 into 3. So that's the rough idea over here. And here I'm trying to also make sure that I get the best brand in terms of like the manufacturer and the brand name is top tier, nothing just of top quality. All right. So I'm still not sure like to get it because I already have 32 gigs of memory, which but I'm because the clock speed is slow over here, like it's only 2600 megahertz. And so I just checked the current memory usage, and it's just around 14 gigs of memory has been used. So I think that from the memory side it is quite sufficient. Like if we just talk about the streaming, because because streaming takes a lot of what do you call that, I'm not able to find that exact word, maybe pressure, I think, because it like for example, like if in a stream we have multiple layers, the camera, the screen sharing, maybe some kind of an overlay if you have set up, and even some kind of an alerts or even for that, and even the audio itself, like the OBS has to do all that magical stuff behind the scene, compress that, encode that, decode that, and then push that to Twitch maybe, or maybe some other streaming service. So I think all that happens on the device itself, on the machine itself, before pushing, and even the resolution is itself, which is the main part. So for instance, like I'm using a 4K resolution of display over here, and I think I'm streaming at 1080p or something. So it has to even resize that as well to shrink the size and make it look better, so even that the end user can see the stream at a higher quality. So all that encoding and decoding happens on the device itself, and that's why it takes a huge toll on the hardware itself. So yeah. So from the RAM side, I think so like what it will be like 32 into 3, 96. Yep, 96. All right. So there'll be like 96 gigs of RAM. I think this should be like pretty sufficient from a consumer PC. And next is the so over here I think I'm pretty set on the RAM itself. By the way, I haven't looked at the cost of the individual components. It's just that I'm trying to get the best hardware which is possible, and obviously it depends upon the region itself that particular component of the hardware is available in the region itself or not. So I can mark this as a green, that this is because I'm pretty damn sure on the RAM itself that 96 gigs should be sufficient. Which color should I pick? Green maybe. It's too bright. Let's go for this. It's mild and yeah, perfect. All right. So next is the hard drive or the hard disk. Over here I'm using the SSD, which is really fast and performant. So I'm going for total of 2 TB, which should be so this should be 2 TB, 2 terabytes into 2. Earlier I was planning to get just a 4 TB as a single disk, but so I was checking few articles on the internet as that because SSDs are quite expensive, and obviously like as you read and write the data from the disk, obviously like any hardware will degrade as you continue to use it. But especially for the hard drive, you never know when the hard disk may crash or anything can happen. So like if you have a single disk of 4 TB, which is great, as terms of storage size, it's really awesome. But on the other hand, like if that disk got crashed, you're out of luck. You lost 4 TB of disk space. Whereas if you have 2 TBs of like 2 into 2, for example 2 into 2, and that makes it 4 TB as total. I think that makes a sweet spot over here in terms of the size itself, and as also from a backup point of view as well. Like I know, like for example, if you're using two separate hard drives of 2 TB, like obviously you can create a partition in Windows. Like if you're talking about Windows, like you can create partitions. So even in that, like obviously you can replicate the data and have it backup and something like that. So it makes your data safe. So I'm just using that approach over here, or maybe I can just go for 4 TB, but I think that will be too much for me. Like 4 TB should be sufficient, because even one more thing. All right, let me write it over here in my current stack, which I forgot to write. I think it doesn't make much difference, but sure, we can write it as well, which is disk space, and that will be 2 TB. Alright, looks good. So yeah, that is the current hardware, and for the custom build PC, I am planning to get everything with the DDR5. Actually, I don't even know like what DDR5 actually means. Like it just says like it's a new new technology. So it should be best, I guess. So yeah, whatever. All right. So I think DDR5, the DDR5 technology or terminology only applies to the motherboard and to RAM. As far as I know, only that's how it works. I'm not sure if it applies to graphic card. Maybe it does, but I don't know. Like I have to maybe look into it because even the graphic card has also inbuilt memory as well. For caching and stuff like that, because it has to compute. So I'm not sure. Okay, let's add a remark over here. Remark: does a graphic card has RAM or not? So I think it's a good idea to check that as well. Does graphic card has RAM or not? Come on, Google, don't teach me. Now is not the time. Okay, next is hard drive. Okay, so for the hard drive, I think so for the hard drive I'm looking for 5600 reads per minute. I think that's the kind of I know, like, this is also one of the key parts for the hard drive as well. Like, as you go for more reads per minute, the cost will also increase, and also I think that's also one of the reasons, like how proficient performant the disk itself. But I think that's kind of a good good speed as well. And the brand name is Western. So I think I should add a note over here, like this stream is not sponsored, stuff like that, maybe blah blah blah. This stream is not sponsored, but I would appreciate if the stream was sponsored, just so you guys know. I'm open for sponsorships. This stream is not sponsored. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe add this thing. All right. So all the components I'm selecting with my own discretion, whatever I feel like, which is a great hardware, I maybe switch later. So for the hard drive, I found two companies which is quite good over here, and one is the Western Digital, and the another one is Seagate. And as for the and over here I can write SSD. All right. As for the brand name, I'm not exactly sure, but I will leave that out for later, because if you talk about just the if you talk about the top tier companies, in maybe CPU, graphics, or motherboard, or even RAM. So if we talk about, like, for example, high-end hardware and compare the prices between different companies, I'm not sure if there will be a much difference. Maybe maybe $100 difference. I think that might be too much, but my point is that, like, if you are trying to build a really high-end machine, I don't think so, like $100 difference would make much sense over here, because you are already paying a lot of money just to build a higher-end machine. So that's why I'm not really concerned, like what will be the budget over here. I'm just trying to build a really good machine. This stream is sponsored for anyone it's a company in any site and make anything with aim to offer nothing. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. This stream is sponsored for anyone it's I didn't get that. All right, I will also mark this as green color over here, because I'm finalized with the hard drive. And as for the never mind, it's a joke. All right, next is the power socket. I don't know, like, what exactly it's called. Is it called power socket or power adapter? Maybe adapter. I'm not exactly sure, like, what it's called, but I will just leave it as that. And over here, so I'm not exactly sure, like, because like power can so based upon the task you are doing, power consumption can vary. For example, if you're just browsing the web, then it would not take that much power. But if you're doing high-end work, for example playing a game, doing a live stream, then it would consume a lot of power as well, because the CPU doing all the heavy lifting and the GPU is pushing its limit to do everything. And so that's why exactly sure like how much power capacity should I get. So I have talked to a few of my friends, and they have suggested that 1000 watts should be sufficient. uh, so that's what I'm trying to go over here. I still think, because the reason I'm concerned for power is that if there's a fluctuation in the power, it's possible that the hardware may malfunction, uh, or I wouldn't say there will be a short circuit. If a short circuit would happen, then it would happen in the socket itself, where you plug the in the wall. If a in the first place it shouldn't happen, but if it happens, I think that where I'm uh, I don't have that of in-depth knowledge about this, but I think that how it should work. But even for example, if the enough voltage is not received by the hardware itself, it will not function properly. Yeah. So I'm not sure if there is anything. Maybe I can go for maybe 1200 watts. But obviously, it. But one thing I'm concerned is that. So actually, I looked on the internet that for the. Give me a second. Um, all right. So for the power adapter itself, that there are kind of certain standards for the power adapter. I think it's called gold. I think it's called silver, gold, platinum. uh, so maybe I think I will look into a bit more. It's not of a kind of a higher priority right now, like the main focus is the CPU. And for example, I will just add a remark over here. Look into silver, gold, platinum standard. All right. What else? Yep, I think that should be sufficient. So in terms of voltage, again, like I'm not sure, but as like I have asked from my friends, I think that should be sufficient. But again, they have recommended me 1000. Is it called watts or voltage? Again, I'm not sure. I think it might be watts, because we use like it was written W like this. W means watts. So it should be watts. Yeah, it's voltage is I think of kind of a different unit. Yeah. All right. So as I was saying, so they have recommended me 1000 watts of power adapter based on the current configuration. Like the i9 13 gen 13 core. How do you say it? Wait. So it's Intel Core i9 13 gen. That's how you would say, right? 13 gen. So you would say 2.4 gigahertz, 8 core Intel Core i9. Kind of weird. So yeah, so they have suggested me that 1000 watts should be sufficient based on the current hard configuration. But I'm still wondering if this is even sufficient or not, because this configuration and this configuration I know is still using Intel Core i9, Intel Core i9. Just by the numbers it looks almost the same. So there's a huge difference in the number of the cores. So even if we consider into that, uh, maybe there might be increase in the like 30 to 40% of performance improvement, but I still think that would not be sufficient. I have to look more into it. And there is another factor I'll be talking about, which is about the motherboard and the socket for the CPU. So I'll be talking about that as well a bit later. Uh, so I'm not sure about this one, so I'll put a question mark, because if the hardware specs increases, in like even more powerful CPU, even more in terms of GPU, I think I'm pretty happy with 24 gigs. Very happy because I already have 8 gigs. Even like I did a stream with Minecraft. It runs. I wouldn't say smoothly, but in terms of the rendering of the graphics, that was really smooth. It was just the CPU was not up to the that level uh, to do the computing stuff. So I think 24 gigs should be sufficient. Uh, it's just the CPU and the motherboard, and obviously, like for example, if you are doing RBG, that's a different thing. But also, I'm planning to do RGB as well. Can't forget about that. Let me write that down. RGB, you know, something like that. RGB is a must. Like you can't forget about that. And yeah, one more thing. So this PC which I'm trying to build over here is not just for streaming. So let me write use case over here. So it obviously it'll be I'll be using it for streaming, but I will also be trying to use it for work. Work in the sense of coding plus design. Uh, is it correct? Oh my god, spelling! Come on, spellings! All right. And maybe I was also kind of a bit of interested in 3D. So it is just kind of you can say a side hobby. So like you can say like 1% of 3D, because why not? Because I'm already a good design. Like I wouldn't call myself a professional, but I would say like I'm really good at designing. Like I haven't done like, because like I have seen a lot of designers out there which can design even much better than me. So I wouldn't call myself professional, but yeah, I'm pretty confident in myself. All right. So next is 3D. So like 3D can make your PC go crazy depending on the number of objects elements you place into the art, or canvas maybe. I don't know the terminology again. So that's the work stuff. What else? And obviously, you can't forget about the main part, gaming. Let's go, baby, let's go, gaming. You know, that's the important stuff. So yeah, I think this is the use case. And again, like streaming can go with the work, or streaming can go with the gaming. So back and forth. But work and game. Okay. Another thing over here, gaming can be 10%, and obviously work will be 100% as always. That's the top priority. And streaming, I would say, because I love doing stream, like um, even before, when I had a shitty computer. Okay, let me talk about my even more shittier computer. So that was the current hardware. Let me get a glass of water. I'm back. Okay, so I was going to talk about the previous computer I had. So, well, yeah, I'm saying that was a shitty computer if I had to compare with the current machine I have. But even that laptop was kind of a godsend because you can say that was the uh, a machine which had a graphic card, like a first machine for me which had the graphic card inbuilt. So I will talk about that older machine. I don't remember the exact hardware, so I will try to be as precise as possible. So again, like it had Intel, can't forget about that. Intel, I think it had Intel Core i5. I don't remember the number of cores or the like how much gigahertz it said. I have to like I still have the laptop with me. I have to run it. I don't want to go through that process. Uh, Intel Core i5. So that's all I remember. But over here, it had 4 gigs of memory. You see where I'm going over here. So good old days. And it had graphics of 2 gigs. I am not sure if it was. I think it was Nvidia graphic card, but I don't know the model number or anything. Graphics 2 gigs, uh, and VIDI. I hope the spellings are correct. Yep. All right. So yeah, that was the. And also I think this was DDR3 maybe. I'm not sure. I think it must be DDR3 or 4. So this was the older machine, and I used it for a really long time. It supported me. I used to play games, not at the higher end, but at, you can say, uh, top lower end. With a decent graphics. Played a few games. It was fun. So it was a good time. But then I got this one, the MacBook Pro. I haven't played any GPU intensive games. Uh, like I think I haven't even played any games on this machine, the MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro. I haven't played any games except for Minecraft. A simple, decent game that I have played. Uh, because also like Apple is not really good with games. So I guess that was the only chance for me to play Minecraft. Yeah, and continuing on. So I'm planning, so fast forward to 2023. Here we are, and this is the current idea to have a badass machine. All right, so we are good with the hard drive. The power adapter is still around 1000 volts. We can look into the standards, like as it says, like gold, platinum, silver, whatever. And there was one more thing. Yeah, I think it was called PCI connector. I think this is one of the recent or latest connector, as they say, like as a standard, uh, or an industry standard, that this is the latest connector it should have. Uh, and last but not least, which is also very important for the CPU, which is the liquid cooling. Can't forget about that. Uh, Over here, there is one thing I want to add. So initially, I was planning to have a custom liquid cooling, with a pump, a reservoir, everything custom. But it has its own, how do you say it, problems, I guess. Like the managing stuff, adding all those pipes, banding them. Even if I get someone for me to assemble the machine, because I'm not really confident in the tooling or the skills of a local retail shop for me to help to build that machine. So I don't want to uh, getting a high end machine, a lot of investment. So I don't want some guy to just mess up with that. So in the end I just went for all in on inbuilt customs inbuilt solution. Everything is in bit combined all together. So that's what I went over here. So I have to look a bit more about this. I'm still not sure if this is a good idea. So I found this 360 ls 720. I don't know like what the fuck that means. Deepcool. I only found that there's this company called Deepcool. So this Deepcool has kind of this liquid cooling which can be attached to CPU, but I don't like that they're kind of a socket. I wouldn't say call a socket, maybe a hub or a plug or something. I don't know the exact word. So if when you place why not, let's just search it. It would be better. Why I'm explaining everything. Alright, let's do it. I think this is the one I looked for. Oh, there is this one. Is it a better one? Okay, let's check this one and this one. So there was this like no offense to the company, but I didn't like that. Yeah, you see that? It looks damn ugly. Come on, just tell me if it doesn't look ugly. I don't like the design. Why? See? I don't like it. Okay, fans, I can get the white color, whatever. But why this? Come on. I don't like that. Yeah, even if you custom, I don't like that. Even if you can customize the look, whatever. Nope. Actually, I'm also not sure like if I can get all the components in white color or not, because again that can vary if the hardware is available in the stock based on the geographical location. That is another thing. But the coloring is not the priority right now. Like it's lower in priority. First of all, the priority is to get all the hardware sorted out. Like what hardware do I need, and then I have to contact with the retail guy. Discuss the pricing. But after then, if the hardware is sorted out, I have to personally go to the retail store, ask the guy if that hardware is available in the stock. If the hardware is available, then talk about hardware is compatible, and make sure if the hardware is available, it doesn't malfunction, and then talk about the coloring, the hardware color. I would prefer to go with the white color, but like I'm not sure if it will be available or not. So I don't like this. I know like there's a liquid cooling from the Corsair as well, but I'm not sure if that will be available by the retail store in his stock, if it's available or not. But I can check that as well. And oops, closed our tab. Okay, so I have talked about my use case, really good. Okay, one thing I haven't mentioned over here is my use case for the streaming. For this one, I would say like I would say 50%. I know, the math is messed up over here, like 50% for the streaming, like 100% for the work, and the gaming for 10%. So this is kind of a, like the balancing, like how I wanted to use this machine, because the streaming can be shared with the work stuff, and work can be like coding, design, and 3D. 3D, I'm not sure, like it's just a kind of a keen interest, kind of a temporary interest, like I have I recently have seen a lot of 3D designs and objects, so I'm kind of interested like how it goes, but definitely not 3D gaming. I'm not planning to build games, because I think like most of the videos I saw on the YouTube, those devs use Java, or I think they use C++ or some kind of those languages, those nerd languages. So I don't know C++. I don't want to learn Java or build game in Java. So yeah. But sometimes, like for instance, like when I play Minecraft, or some other games, I tend to, especially with the Minecraft, I sometimes get really interested, like what exactly is happening behind that code base. As a dev, I am interested to know, like I'm not sure, like if I think it's written in Java, obviously, because I can run it on Mac OS. But I would be interested to know that, like what is exactly happening. Oh, that's a nice music. Okay, so I think that's, so we can just create a differentiation over here. We are pretty sure on the RAM. I think RAM is just a a final, like I can just go with this, no doubts on that. How can I add an emoji? Let's see, does Google Doc have an inbuilt emoji picker? That'll be nice. Let me see. Does it really have? Okay, cool. Good job, Google. Okay, this should be done. On we check mark. Check. Yeah, great. Oh, not over there. Not over there. Come on, good boy. Alright. There you go. So we are pretty damn sure on the RAM, 32 into 3, 96 gigs. Pretty damn sure. And 6000 megahertz should be fine, because so over here, like I've seen, even 6500 megahertz RAM is also available. But again, I think it's not worth it, because until like you can get that RAM, no biggie, until unless the CPU utilize that full RAM, otherwise it's just a waste of investment. Like like if you get all the top tier hardware, you need to make sure that that hardware is compatible with each other, that it can utilize its 100%, not even 100%, 99% it can be utilized, so that's the important part over here. And the hard drive, I think that should be fine. I have to double check with the rates per minute, but I think reads per minute, but I think this should be sufficient, like no doubt. I'm not sure, like what are the specs, the hardware specs for this for my machine. Let me check that. But before that, let me check this liquid for this is SE, Deep Cool LS720 SE. What are the differences? Let's go to specs. Can we compare the specs in any way? Let me open this as well. Come on, specs, where are you? Specifications. All right. Okay, there you go. So what is the difference? Do I have to switch tabs back and forth? Uh, so there's a difference in the weight. I think there is a difference. Yeah, I think there's a small difference in the weight. What else? So there's also a difference in the pump rate. Yeah. So over here they have mentioned it's. I don't know the unit. Over here is 0.38 in the Deepcool SE. But over here it's 4.7. So I guess bigger is better, right? In terms of fan size, so on the internet, like I have read that the bigger the fan is, the lesser noise it have to make, and I think the silent it will be. I think that's what I have read. I'm not exactly sure. What else? So I think there's just a minor difference. I will not go that deep because it's not the important part right now. But what I'm interested in the the CPU is the main part. All right. So like I was saying that I will talk about the CPU and the socket. So it's time. All right, let's talk about it. So talking about the Intel Core i9 13 Gen. So where is that? Let me find it. Hold on. Where it is? Let me search. Socket. Okay, there you go. So with the current configuration, we have the specs over here. The Intel Core i9, right? So with that specs, so this is the specs, the in detail spec for that CPU, and I want to focus on this the socket over here. So this socket, and I have also read on the internet that this socket will be changed in the next generation. In the i10, this will no longer be the same. And why is that important? So the reason it's important is that, for example, if I get this motherboard, let me search this as well. So this is the motherboard from the MSI, which is inbuilt Wi-Fi, and obviously with the DDR5. And so over here it is 1700 socket. I think it's 1700 or 17,000. Yeah, 1700. So this socket is only compatible with the Intel 12th and 13th generation. Okay, it will be different in the 14th generation. My bad. Okay, so I think it might be still be i9 or maybe i10. I don't know, but okay, it will not be same for the 14th, which is bad. So this is the like, for example, if I get this motherboard and if I want to use this CPU and this motherboard, and maybe after 3-4 years I want to upgrade, this motherboard will be useless. It will not work, and that's that's a waste of money if you talk about it. Yeah, there you go. Yep, it looks damn beautiful. So if you just ignore the hardware stuff, the specs, just look at the beauty, all the components. Wow, pretty slick. Okay, let me just does they have a white color? Yeah, I know, I know I should be focusing on the color, and I have said that to myself, but come on. Okay, I think they don't have that. I'm not sure, like they are not showing it. Doubling over the previous generation, the bandwidth, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Connectivity. Yeah, okay, here you go. Supports 12th and 13th generation. And okay, and there you go. So this is the socket. So that is the first, what do you say that? First reason. Okay, let me add a remark over here. Oh, come on, Google. The socket will be different in next gen. So that's one of the the very important part. If I want to upgrade at some later point, this motherboard will be useless. So then comes the second, obviously. Okay, so the thing is that if I can't, if I go with this and I want to upgrade, this is useless. So the next question comes that I can go for AMD. That's a valid question or the valid idea. And for that, I have looked for a few. By the way, just a side note over here. So this CPU is a consumer and CPU, like a higher consumer and CPU. Obviously, like it can also be used for servers, but this is as a consumer CPU, consumer higher end CPU. Okay, so if I talk about the AMD processor, let me see. Okay, so there is this AMD Ryzen 9 7950 X3D. Oops, X3D. Yeah. So there are a few really good, I would say, remarks over here I want to add, and few of them I'm also not sure, like if I would call it a good or bad. So we can talk about that. So first of all, it was compatible. I think it uses AMD/5. I think that's their socket version, and in the next generation, so I will write. Oh, that's nice. You see that? That's nice. Compatible with next gen. So it's a really sweet spot that that it is compatible with. It will be compatible with the next gen. And again, over here I'm talking about a consumer higher end CPU. The next part was okay, damn, I forgot. Okay, let me talk about the next point. So over here, I'm not exactly sure, I might be wrong. It's that it consumes less power or for doing a particular compute. So let me show you. So over here again, this might be different, that in general or theoretically speaking, for a particular work to be done, the more power it needs, the more work it does, the more power it needs. That's the logic. I think that logic applies to a human as well, that the more work we do, the tired we get, the more energy we need. So similar logic. But over here, if you talk about the Intel CPU, Let me see. Where was it? And also, yeah, on the side note, I think in the higher end CPUs, they also tend to have an inbuilt GPU as well, which is nice. Like kind of a decent GPU. For the computing, and also I think it was same over here as well. Yeah, there you go. See, so I think I had this CPU, and this CPU had an inbuilt GPU as well. So I think the similar stuff. Yeah. All right. Now back to the voltage consumption. Let me see where I can find it. Okay, yeah, here it is. So I think this is the processor base power, 125 voltage, and the maximum turbo power, 253 voltage. Uh, so another thing is that again, I might be wrong, that you can overpower this as well to because like when you overclock a CPU, obviously it will be needing to consume more power. So I think you can modify that in the settings. I'm not sure. I'm just so whatever I have read or seen on the internet. So I'm saying that again. I might be wrong. I have to double check. Uh, okay, so let me compare this with. I'm gonna practice code. See you later. All right, Buffalo. So now I'm. Have a nice day to you. So I'm now going to compare this with the AMD as well. Where is the AMD? All right. So AMD Ryzen 9. So I think this is their consumer higher end machine. So I will be looking at the motherboard later, because the CPU is important, because if I go for a different CPU, the motherboard might also vary. But for the motherboard, I will add a few quick remarks over here. Remarks. Oh, so obviously, like it should have DDR5. That's kind of a standard we have set over here. And the next part is that it should support Wi-Fi or inbuilt Wi-Fi, to be more specific. I think that's all for the motherboard. Okay, maybe in white color. Why not? I guess that's all. And there was another thing, because I haven't gone too deep into the specs also, because as you can go as crazy as you want, uh, but just for specifically for the RAM over here, if you look over here, that it supports DDR5 memory. Great. Dual channel. So over here, this part, I think it's has 4 slots. So maybe like a single channel can have 2 slots. So I'm not exactly sure about this part. And also I think, for example, can I copy this image? Copy image. Okay, let me just move over here, paste the image. Will it work? Okay, cool. So okay, so what I meant by can I lock this as well? Okay, cool. So this is locked. Okay, so when they say it has Yeah. So when it says it has dual channel, so I am guessing that this let me make it reverse. Why? Okay, maybe it's point system, so I have to just be a bit rough over here. This and come on, this. Oh, let me see if I can make it a bit loose. Come on. Hmm. No, that's not good. I think there was a way to do it. I don't know why it's not showing. Okay. Anyway, so this over here. Okay, I think I can go with that one. So this and oh man. So this and this is a single channel, and this one these these two works in a different channel. So I think that's how it goes, or that's how they say, and obviously it supports up to 7000 megahertz, but we are only going for 6000, I believe. Yeah, 6000, which should be pretty sufficient. Again, like I'm not sure like what does OC means. There are endless terminology. What else does it have? Okay, yeah, okay, one more thing, yeah, I forgot. So for our motherboard, it should which is kind of an important for me as well, which should support USB type C. And obviously like now even the Europe SP, even the Europe law has kind of a mandate that like USB type C is kind of a defaulto. So yeah. Again, like that was not a legal advice. You know what I mean. Okay, what else? Intel Turbo, blah blah blah. Reward your ears. Seriously, it's not like there is an inbuilt or speaker or something like that. Maybe there's some kind of an encoding software. Whatever. So yeah, that's like it supports it only so this particular motherboard, this model number only supports the 12th and 13th gen Intel Gen CPU, which is platinum. That's great. But we don't want that. Am I still alive? Yeah, I'm live. So that's why I am trying to look for the AMD processor. So I was talking about the voltage consumption, and obviously you can overclock as well. If you look over here, base frequency. uh, so okay, over here, they just have, obviously, they try to give as much information as try as they tried. But I also got a bit confused as well, like, like what are the efficient core, which is base frequency, and then they had like performance core. But like again, like our and like there are a few just important things that, like you can max turbo boost to like 5.80, like even I'm not sure like what are the particular tasks at which we can just turbo boost to this gigahertz. Maybe like if you're talking about the uh, actually, I'm not exactly sure like if you can really push that, like maybe like 5.75, not exactly sure, just because like a hardware really can't give that much, as they say on the paper. It will not never reach that. Okay, on the papers they can say like it's this code, stuff like that, but it cannot never reach that. So yeah, it has 20, I think it had 20. Okay, it had 32 threads. Yep. 24 cores. Yeah. So okay, let me check the AMD as well. Also, in the meantime, so in my live stream, last live stream, I have said that I was working on new design for my side project. So this is the new design for the homepage, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It looks really refreshing. It looks open. Great. Really happy with it. Uh, so by the way, if you are a writer, or a story writer, a novel writer, and you want to publish your content, do use Verbals. It's a great platform. If you have any feedback, do let me know. And we already have a few creators, few awesome creators. They have tried to use the platform. I have also shared few books over there. Um, so do give it a try and let me know like what you think. And that was end of our ads. Now back to work. Okay, so this is the AMD processor, which they say is the top in a consumer end. Okay. Yeah, nice. um Global availability. Yeah, yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what do we need? The max clock boost speed. So over here they have 5.7 gigahertz. Yep. Okay, so you see, there are a few key differences over here, like how much max uh, boost we can get, or over here there is just like zero point 0.3 less, but it doesn't make much difference over here. It is built upon the 5 nanometer technology. And what about the Intel? Have they mentioned it anywhere? I don't think so. But 5 nanometer, great TMC. All right. Recommended. Don't worry. We got that sweet stuff. Okay, so here it is. Base clock. It has 4.2 gigahertz. Actually, another thing I also just noticed. The first one is here's the base. So over here, the base frequency. So actually, I'm not sure about this one. Like, should we use the sum of these two? Like, it's like 5.20, or like just consider it individually. I'm not sure about that. Over here, the base clock is this. The number of CPU cores is 16. Again, oh my god, I'm not sure. What does you mean by the performance cores and efficient cores? Okay, let's search it. Intel Core efficient versus, let's search it. Okay, lots of articles. Let's pick the okay, let's go with the first one. Okay. Intel Core i5, i7, i9. Oh, that's interesting. Symmetrical versus asymmetrical design. The benefits of E versus and P cores. There are many benefits to have this hybrid architect approach in the CPU. Laptop users are going to benefit the most since the majority of daily tasks are not performance intensive. If all you need is the power of your efficient cores, you will enjoy a cooler and quieter computer with a longer battery life. When you have got your laptop plugged into a wall, or if you're using a desktop computer, those efficient cores are still important. Let's say you're playing a video game that needs all the CPU power you can throw at it. The game can have the full access to all performance cores, while your efficient cores take care of the background process and the applications such as Skype, Slack, downloads, etc. In future, if intensive applications that are written with hybrid wait a second. In future, intensive applications that are written with a hybrid CPU in mind may even spawn threads that are associated to both kind of cores depending upon their demands. Efficient cores are simpler and less expensive to produce. Less expensive to produce, so using them to argument and free up cutting edge performance cores is a smarter idea. Okay, in the case of Alder Lake CPUs, at least the P and E cores have been designed in such a way that they don't interfere with each other, so each can do their job separately. Unfortunately, this radical shift in X2086 CPU architecture isn't happening without some teeth troubles. Okay. I still don't get it. I mean, okay, so at the higher level, I understand that the efficient for simplest tasks, performance for higher end tasks, simple stuff, understood. But everything goes top of the head. Okay, let's check out AMD. Okay, let's focus on the power consumption for now. So over here they say the base power consumption is 125 watts, but over here it's like 120 watts. So when I say this thing, like there are just 5 watts of difference, but things starts to met, like okay, first of all, let me take a step back and defend myself that that I'm not trying to favor one CPU processor compared to other. It's just that like when you are trying to build a heavy machine and doing a heavy compute at, like if you if you talk about the Apple, when they have launched their M chips, M1, M2, M3, like not M3 but M1, M2. So they have been saying like watt performance per watt, that in a particular watt how much performance they can squeeze. So I think that's one of the key points over here, that while keeping the voltage even like 5 watts. I don't know like how big is it, but mathematically speaking, like it's just 5 watts. So over here, I think that's a good thing, but also another thing is that it came recently, in this year, in the first quarter, like in the second month. So this chip came recently, but this one is damn old. I think it's of 2022. It's way old. I am not sure where I saw. Yeah, I'm not sure where I saw that. But yeah, this chip is older. Yeah, it's old. So considering the launch date as well, one can say that I think even in the news I have read that that like AMD was late in shipping, in releasing their consumer higher end chip. Uh, so like you can, that is one of the thing to consider. But over here, and also the main focus was the CPU socket as well. So as I was saying, AM5. Uh, so one of the thing, AM5. So one of the thing I was concerned about was this only, that the socket itself, and in the next gen as well, this socket will be compatible, which is really great. Uh, and obviously, like as I was talking about the voltage. Okay, number of CPU cores, threads 32, threads 32 core. So they have okay, again, efficient cores, performant cores. So total cores 24. Hmm. But like even if you say that Intel is better over here, this chip is better, that that it has 8 more cores which are performance cores. Just for that 8 cores, but like because this CPU is not cheap, it's really expensive. And if you compare that okay, even the AMD Ryzen will have the similar price tag as well. So you like forget about the price over here in the first place. So just even the talking about the compatibility as well. So we are spending the same amount of money, not a big issue. But the compatibility is the problem. Like if then in the next gen that Intel CPU chip is not compatible, that's an issue when you upgrade. But in the AMD, it is it will be okay. Let me check. AMD Ryzen 9 socket support in next gen. What socket? Is it AM4 or 5? AM5. Just like any other processor, the AMD Ryzen 9 also uses the CPU socket, which happens to be the Huh? Wait. This is weird. I think this information is not correct. AMD socket support for next gen. Meet the new AMD socket, AMD 5 platform, blah blah blah. What will be the next AMD? AMD has recently announced their Ryzen 7000 processors, offering powered by the new Zen 4 architect and supporting the okay. So this is the new socket, by de facto, like launched recently, so I think this will be for a longer run. So it says like it supports PCI 5.0, DDR5, all the things we need, which is great, and it will be supported for a longer run. And they say like AMD plans to support the new AMD 5 socket through to 2025. So for example, if I purchase the current CPU now, well, obviously I'll be planning to use that for as long as possible, 5 6 even 8 years. So I'm not sure till that if even the motherboard will be compatible or not. Like maybe they might release so if they release AMD AM6, it should be back, because generally what happens when a new product is released, which is with a they tend to have a backward compatibility as well. So that if that happens, that'll be great. So I'm still in the favor of getting the AMD chip over here, again, like which is compatible. And obviously we can talk about uh, so we can say it has 24 cores, it has 16 cores, it takes less watt, it takes 125. What else? I think one of the another thing was also the temperature. Like it only goes to the maximum of 39 degrees, whereas Intel can go up to 100 degrees. Let me find that. I can type Celsius maybe. Oh, I think that's a bad idea. This. Nope. Maybe 100. Yeah, okay. What is this? Well, I mean, this is the Celsius unit they are using. Junction temperature is the maximum temperature allowed or at the processor die. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so graphics core count to, does it also have inbuilt graphic? That's another question, because Intel does have inbuilt graphics. I'm not sure about the AMD, like it is not mentioned in the specs. Inbuilt graphics. Maybe I misread something. Let me double check. Graphics ability. I think that's the graphics which supports the chip for the compatibility, but not the inbuilt. PC Mag reported in its review that AMD T3 Vcache stacked the chip stacking technology behind the big gains in game performance, resulting in 3 to 4x increase in the performance of the tiny integrated GPU on board over the standard Ryzen 9. Oh, that okay, that 3D. Oh, okay. Uh, gotcha. Now you know that you mention it. I think I saw something. Where it is? Was it related to Vcache or 3D Vcache? Yeah, Vcache. Uh, the ultimate processor with AMD 3D Vcache. It's trademark. I think it's their proprietary or something. But they haven't specified the like how much GPU is in inbuilt. Yeah. You can like obviously you can attach any the CPU has no integrated GPU and the computer will therefore require a discrete graphic card for video output. It is a desktop CPU with 16 cores and 32 threads with AMD 4 socket. Oh, no. Which one? Okay, that's the older one now. Okay, so well, the articles say that the 3D model of the CPU has an integrated GPU, which seems good, you know. It's just a good or nice, you know. I think you can say like nice is below and good is at the top. Then best, something like that, you know. So I think it's decent, you can say, like 3D Vcache technology, but it doesn't specify how much, you know. For instance, like over here, with the current hardware stack I have, you know, it has AMD Radeon Pro 5 55M 8 gigs of graphic card, and so this UHD, I think this is the integrated graphic card in the CPU itself of Intel Core i9 processor. I think that's one of the remarks I have to add. But you know, so overall, I am still in the favor of AMD just because of the compatibility of the socket. Uh, but I will still add that remark. Uh, kind of has inbuilt GPU with 3D V cache, and you know, like whatever their proprietary, like you know, like when they say trademark, like they must have their own proprietary stuff. So they haven't specified, you know. So like someone in the chat knows like what does that mean. That'll be great help to explore more about this. Okay, so this is the remarks and the consumer here and CPU. And next I will talk about the graphic card. So I have looked, I can delete this one. Let me check something. Okay. Let me move this over here. I want to check something which is a little bit private. Alright. Yeah, I want to check something. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now I want to check the graphics card. Uh, I can close these links. You know what? Wait. I will copy, 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 copy. Okay. I will copy the link. Copy. Uh, right link and just where is it? This insert link. Boom. Apply. Pretty good. Pretty good. I will do the same for this. Like it'll be easier to like whenever I want to come back and check the link instead of going crazy and searching for it again. Oops. And this is for the motherboard. We can check the motherboard later, because that might vary, like if you want to go for AMD or Intel. So that's fine. Let's take this to GPU. I already actually I want to first of all check the this one. uh, we can close this as well. uh, I think this is MSI website. We can just search the products graphic card. uh, which series? That's an interesting question. Let me see. Which one is the largest number? I'm just kidding. There you go. That's my boy. Okay, we are down to two products. Great start. Over here, now you see what's the difference? There is a difference of X, which means X is big. So I think this is the Intel based, Intel compatible graphic card. So yeah, that's what this is. Play hard. Yeah, damn I will. You bet. Why it is taking so long? Oh, what the what was that? I had to just scroll down. Oh. Where are the specs, man? Yeah, all these fancy stuff, yeah, fine. Where are the specs? Okay. Yeah, these graphic card doesn't have that much speed or clock speeds. Maybe these are the higher end already. I'm just comparing the numbers over here, don't get me wrong. I'm just comparing the numbers. So for example, if you talk about the graphic, the RAM we have selected, like 6000 or 62000, compare it with graphic card over here. It's not even half. Okay, nobody's. We will take it. But I think this way is for Intel based. This will not be compatible with AMD, I believe. Will it? What? Why not? Okay. Copper Yeah, whatever. Is that all for the specs? Supports 4K with 120 Hz, 8K 60 Hz, and viable refresh rates as specified in HDMI. Talk about 4K. This is a beast, man. Or as far I know, in a consumer model, I think this is a beast. Again, this is not a sponsored. A big disclaimer. It will be nice to get a sponsorship. You know, this is not a sponsored stream. Again, this stream is not sponsored, but duly appreciated. Yeah. Okay. So this is the GeForce RTX question. If this is a so MSI is the manufacturer or their brand name, but I think Gigabyte is there is a graphic card of a Gigabyte. I'm not sure if a Gigabyte is a model name or a brand name. If RTX is a technology, then GeForce. What? I'm getting confused. Actually, no. On the other hand, there are not much specs available for the graphic card. Or maybe I'm looking at the wrong screen. Okay, because so I have only looked at this part. I don't know what the fuck is happening over here. I don't know what all this is. I guess I have to read it. Try Frozer 3 thermal design. Trox fan 5.0 fan blades linked by ring arcs and a fan cowl work together to stabilize and maintain a high pressure airflow. Copper base plate, heat from the GPU and the memory mod. Okay, so you see over here, so even there's a integrated memory card inside the GPU itself. Yeah, heat from the GPU and the memory module is captured by the copper base plate and then rapidly transferred to core pipes. Core pipe, a section of a square shaped heat pipes make maximum contact over the GPU, then spread the heat to the heatsink. Airflow control, sections of different heatsink fins disrupt unwanted airflow. Harmonics. Wait, what? Harmonics and reduce noise. I don't know what that means. What the hell? Okay, let's compare it with this. Like they say, like there's a X, so like better. Let's say, is it better? Uh, what are the differences? There's. It will not help. Let me go to. diff. So this is the configuration for the RTX without X, the base, I guess. And this one is the model with X. So if their specs are same, that is fucking messed up. What the only like how much 75 megahertz, and you put X for that? This is messed up. Is it a joke? You see clearly, like, why bother putting an X for that? This is insane. You know what? Okay, fine. If I go with the Intel, I can just go for this graphic card. So that I later I don't have to complain. I should have gotten that. I got this one. Like maybe I should have gotten that time. Blah blah blah. So, okay. Let's see like what G4. Okay, so this is from Gigabyte. So I believe Gigabyte is a manufacturer. G4 is kind of like a common terminology. So why they are using an, oh my god, like can someone explain me like what who owns what? So GeForce RTX is that technology, was it created by Nvidia? If so, is Nvidia a product designer? So Gigabyte is a manufacturer? Maybe not. Okay. Okay. This has 2520 megahertz, same as without this one, without X over here. So I guess this one still supersedes from this, but I want to still read all the specification. All right. Core clock speeds. Okay. Cores. They haven't specified any. MSI. What is happening? Number of cores. What is number of cores? I don't see it anywhere. MSI. Okay. Memory size 24. Oh my god. Oh, so. Oh, that's interesting. So that's the literally memory size. Actually, so if we just talk about the CPU and the memory, so what happened is that when the data is being processed in the CPU, it uses the memory to cache the compute for a particular duration. I don't know like the exact the terminology over here, but I think then it can read from the cache, but also CPU has its own cache. So I think so if it can access the data from the cache or the memory, because memory is also used as a kind of a cache itself, to cache the data, which can because memory is really fast, and you can read and write data from the memory really fast. But it can be also expensive, because of the limited memory it has, and like the memory is shared as a hardware itself. So but over here, like, this is a freaking graphic card, and the graphic card itself is 24 gigs. Insane. Okay, so PCI, I think MSI said that it was PCI 5, if I'm not wrong. Can I see a full spec somewhere else? I don't care about this. Oh man, this sucks. Specifications. Ah, thank you. Finally. Okay. So what do we got? What do we got? The extreme performance. Uh, uh, so what is the clock speed? 25. I mean, it's still better. Maybe it's just because of X over here. You know, X trio, whatever. Uh, what is CUDA? CUDA cores still the same. Memory speed still the same. Memory bus, let me check, still the same. Card, okay. I need to check the volt power consumption. Okay, you know, so over here it has already, you know, so earlier I was talking about the power consumption, you know, like the 1000 watts was the recommended one. So 450 watts has already been blocked by this freaking giant hardware. So I guess I have to add a big remark over here, or maybe over here it uses 450 watts. So if you minus 450, like I think we got like 550 remaining. And if you're so from okay, 450, and I think CPU takes like how much, 125 I think. So we are only left with 425. So I think from 425 watts, the hard drive will also use some power. The RAM will also use some power, and also, you know, the RGB running, that will also use some power, and even the liquid cooling will also be using some power. What else? Uh, and I think the motherboard itself for running the circuits will be using some power. I'm not sure over here. I mean, we can do the math for the power consumption later, like since the power is not the higher priority. Recommended PCU. Okay, so over there they have set like 850, but we are getting thousands. Okay, fine, whatever. What else? Digital maximum resolution. The resolution are same. What is the card size? Length 331. Okay, for okay. So the GeForce card, the RTX from the Gigabyte is a bit smaller, but I think the size doesn't matter. I don't care about the size. Uh, okay. Actually, I want to see this PC. I think, you know. Mm, we are just comparing the specs, you know. Oh, the weight is huge, man. 2 kg. That's huge. That's one of the huge. That's huge. So I think like MSI is the winner over here for the Nvidia. I will check for the. No, wait, hold on. I said it wrong. So MSI, this model is for uh, this model is for Intel based CPU. Actually, I'm not sure like what is the correlation between this as well, because if you like, if you remember, like we have checked the AMD CPU, and they have said that the recommendation is the AMD Radeon, like their own branding name based GPU. So okay, let's check it. They also have motherboards. I think I'll be interested in checking that as well for Intel and both AMD. But let's focus on graphic card for now. Okay, so they have a bunch of them, and obviously we will be getting a best of the best. So what I have written is RX 7900 XTX Cryo 24G. This one. I will directly go to the specs this time if they have. Okay, over here they have mentioned the PCI. Okay. Can I? Okay, so this is also PCI Gen 4. Okay. So what I wanted to compare is the clock speeds and stuff like that. So uh, this one is more performant. Okay, that's a big boost. So over here the memory speed is also a bit less. Uh, so for the MSI GeForce, it consumes 450 watts, but whereas for the Radeon it consumes only 355 watts. But you know, this is the huge difference, man. With the performance. Even though they are claiming it on the paper, that's a big difference. Okay. So I think I can just remove this one. So if I try to use this with the AMD processor, will it work, or will it work to its full capacity? Because I'm still at the edge for just for the socket, but on the other hand, right now, like, it's 2023. I'm want to make sure that this PC build last for 5 6 minimum number of years. So like it's maybe 2028 or 2029. But the AMD said that maybe I should just go for Intel then. Because when I look at the other specs, like with the inbuilt GPU in the in the CPU itself, yeah, I think yeah, this question doesn't make sense. It The graphic card is itself is a RAM, so yeah, it doesn't make sense now. How can I strike out this question? Okay. So I guess now the question is, okay, let me check if I can use the MSI RTX this with the AMD Ryzen. With this. So that is only compatible with this. That is no. I mean, like, I have no issue going for this, but this is Intel based, and I mean, it's also Intel is not bad, but just the power itself, consumes, because but since it's a desktop, it will be plugged in the socket all the time. The power socket. It also has 24 cores. It has 16 cores, so I can already see the numbers over here. That this is better. Now I'm starting to have second thoughts now. Like, we can just fuck off the voltage watts if we can't get that performance. Even okay, if that the speed they are claiming on the papers, if like, I know I said that the speed they claim on the papers may even not be reachable at that speed in the first place. So that's a big question. First of all, I want to check the CPU and the GPU if they are compatible, or how I want to go. Then I will look for the motherboard. Okay, okay, let's keep this aside for now. So this is the like a consumer higher end chip, which works great. But the next part is that there are so they call workstation, or professional chips, which can also be used for servers. And so I looked into that as well, and there are chips for Intel and AMD as well. But I think I'll have to continue that in my next stream, because it's already quite late, and I'm also quite tired. But I think I have made quite a good progress over here so far. Still in a bit of a limbo, but now I'm a bit more aligned towards Intel CPU, with all these specs over here. And obviously, the main selling point was the GPU. Obviously, like, it has integrated GPU as well in the CPU, which is obviously one more plus point. The number of cores, and the performance over here. I have to still see the actual people reviews, like what the actual people say, like did they got that much performance from this or not. Then maybe we can just go back to AMD. Yep. Yeah. So in the next stream, I'll be talking about even more powerful CPU, not the GPU. As far I know, I think I will not go much further for the GPU side, but for the CPU side, I will look into more powerful GPUs, which they call workstations. For, or even in the servers, they tend to use those as well. These are really heavy loads. Always also, they are really expensive CPUs as well. So I will be looking into their specs and how it goes in the next live stream. So thank you for checking by, guys, and I will see you in the next live stream. Peace.